what would you say if somebody was in their early stage of business? So say somebody who is a coach in any dimension doing, say, six figures.
Yep.
What would be your recommendation for them as a coach to think about or focus on?
Visibility, right? Because you became a coach because you want to impact people, you want to be of service, you want to make great money, and you want to have a freedom-based business. And visibility is the first step in being able to reach more, teach more, serve more, and get paid more, right? So when I say visibility, what am I talking about? What we're doing right now, podcasting, live streaming, being consistent on social media, networking in whatever way feels good for you. Some people like a really small room. Some people like to go to a big conference. Some people like to connect with people one-on-one. But just being visible and being of service, right?
Yeah. So would you say that's the same advice that you would give to somebody who's going from 0 to 6 figures?
It is.
Okay.
It is. It's very interesting. And I love that you asked this question because I literally, I was speaking to a room of entrepreneurs yesterday that had people from 0 to 8 figures. And obviously with where the market is today, everyone's asking the question, like, how do I grow? How do I, capitalize on where we are right now? People are taking more time to make a purchase. They're being more discerning about the buying process. And so trust building is so essential right now. And it's really interesting because the last couple of years, there's been a huge focus on micro content, right? 3-second story, a 30-second reel, and all of those things are really valuable. But especially when people are selecting a coach in the market of today, they want to feel like they know you. And they are going to, on average, consume about 11 hours of content before they make that choice of this is who I'm going to hitch my wagon to, right? This is the coach I'm going to follow, I'm going to work with, I'm going to buy from. And so you can either have someone need to follow you for a year and a half to get through those 11 hours, or you can say, you know what, I'm going to deliver these really high value, like thought leadership pieces and engage with people on things like podcasts and live streams. And I love this long form content. One, because of course you can still chop it up into short form. Yeah. So you have that. But two, people find your live streams, your podcasts, your videos like this for years to come. So it's not like you're just doing something and then it disappears like a story. This is going to live and people are going to keep discovering it and keep discovering you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. And I also like the idea, at least from my perspective, doing any kind of content clarifies the way you communicate anything.
Absolutely.
And that tends to help you not just with your content creation, but just in engagement and conversations and whatever that you're doing, because there's a sense of clarity that comes when, let's say, we are going to talk. Exactly. There'll be something that'll be like, oh, that's a little bit more clearer to me, even if I've done it for a lifetime, because you get to talk about it, something at length.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. So one of the things it piques my curiosity, because I'm from a slightly different school of thought, and maybe we are the same school of thought, but maybe not. I don't know, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
What I find is choosing the visibility model, often that I found my students is so distracting a lot of the times that they forget the point is trust. The point is not. And maybe visibility is the wrong word that I am choosing, because what you meant was trust too.
Yes,
that's what I'm trying to get to.
Yes.
Is that it's not about number of likes and follows. It's about the trust you're building in the context you're building that trust in.
I couldn't agree more. And I'll tell you, one of the most important things that I did when I was building my coaching practice, so that was my first business. I took my coaching practice to 8 figures, and then I split out all my other companies that I run today. Probably 5-6 years ago, I stopped following other coaches online. I stopped consuming my competitors' content. I didn't check the likes or the comments on my posts. I would actually have my team go in, and I just focused on creating. And I just focused on how can I serve? How can I produce meaningful, thoughtful pieces that are really going to make a difference for people, and not worry about the metrics, not worry about who's liking it and who sees it and what does it look like in contrast to anyone else's. I just put the blinders on. And I really think that's one of the biggest things that allowed me, one, to leverage my intuition and be creative as a thought leader, because I wasn't being subconsciously influenced by consuming all these other people's content and then creating my content, and you don't realize how much you're influenced, right? Yeah. But the other thing is to your point, exactly what you're saying with your clients. I've seen the exact same thing with mine. It's like they're so worried about, how they're going to look, or whether it's going to get liked, or if it's going to get shared, or all those vanity metrics. I have a much smaller following than many people online that do what I do, and yet my business has been one of the most successful in my space. And there's a difference between, I actually wrote a book about this called Conviction Marketing, because when everything was coming out a couple of years ago about like the pointing and the dancing and, all the trending audios and all of that just didn't resonate for me. It does resonate for some people. I think you should make content however feels good for you. I don't think there's a right or a wrong way. It didn't resonate for me. And I found so many people that were like really kind of pulling back in their shell because they didn't see how they fit into that. It didn't feel, comfortable.
I don't want to dance on videos.
Yeah. Like they just,
I'm a coach. Why do I have to do that?
Why do I have to point and dance? Why do I have to be, voice, echoing trending audios? It just doesn't fit for a lot of people in the ethos of what they're trying to create. Same with me. So all of this pointing back to what you're saying, which is you need to run your own race. You need to focus on building trust, adding value, creating thoughtful and meaningful pieces on whatever platform. Don't overthink the platform. There are people successful everywhere. It could be YouTube, it could be LinkedIn, it could be Instagram, it could be Facebook. That really doesn't matter, because if you're consistent with something, you're going to ultimately find the people that connect with that wherever you are.
Absolutely. Yeah. And relating more into that and leaning more into conviction marketing in a way, and potentially in what we are saying, the same things, is what I found is the reason why a lot of times you don't have to worry so much about the followers, and the bigger following that the person has often has the wrong context. And because they have the wrong context of following, they actually tend to be individuals, and not that I'm saying everybody's like that, but I've met so many people with 1 million followers, 5 million followers, 10 million followers, and I'm like, and what's the revenue they're doing? 1 million. Well, like, for 10 million followers, how? Like, I try
to explain this all the time, and this is what it's so intimidating to coaches that are coming up, and they don't realize that doesn't matter. And in fact, a lot of the creators that had been teaching about all these tactics to like go viral and to use all these trends to get all these followers really fast, they now have found following and engaging on cute, funny content doesn't lead to conversions. Yeah. So now they have these accounts with 1 million plus followers, but they're not making any money from it. Yeah. You can have an account with 1,000 or less, 1,000 or less quality followers, and you can have over $1 million business. Yeah. And that's what, it's important for people like us to share that, because it's hard when you're a new creator coming up and you're seeing this. It's so confusing and it's intimidating. But it's just, you got to run your own race. And I think that, you always hear the phrase like your income is determined by your impact. And a lot of people are like, but I want to make an impact. I'm creating, I'm recording, I'm putting content out. And it's like, but there's also a compound effect over time. Yeah. Of being committed to your craft and being ruthless and relentless in the pursuit of the impact that you want to make on the world. Because just me waking up in the morning and saying I'm going to record 100 videos today, that doesn't mean anything. There's a continuity over time of sharing, promoting, connecting, serving, and it's like a snowball that has to build.